What is up, Hulkamaniacs?
Yeah.
And thank you for tuning in to episode 6 of Big Boys and Body Slams. Today we are talking about Hell in a Cell 2018. My name is Zach. Right over here to my left, you've got Kyle.
Hey, guys.
And over to my right, we have Luke.
And my buddy, Teddy Long. Holla, holla, holla. And if anyone misbehaves, gonna put you in a match directly against The Undertaker.
Yes, and right now you can see we are on Twitter, and we are on Patreon, Twitter at BB and BS Podcast, and patreon.com/BigBoysAndBodySlams. Patreon is the best way you can support the show. We could really use your support. We have some really cool tiers, and you're going to want to contribute to that because it's awesome. We sold another shirt this week, or 2 shirts.
We sold 2.
2?
Our boy, friend of the podcast, Dakota Zankner, bought one for him, and then his friend Sarah bought one too, so thanks for supporting, making us a little bit of a
Moolah.
Money.
Yes, we appreciate any support we can give. And again, we're on iTunes and Google Play. We're on SoundCloud. We're on YouTube. We're on Twitch right now. It's going to be an interesting video cast this week with the whole... But I'm also recording a backup on the camera too, so... We have our bases thoroughly covered.
Dude.
Yeah.
Hell in a Cell.
Hell in a Cell.
Holy crap.
That was a pretty good pay-per-view. It exceeded my expectations.
Yeah, I think that... It was a really solid show. Towards the end, it kind of
tapered off.
Took an interesting turn, particularly in the main event. But outside of that, I thought that this was a super solid show overall, with some really fun matches and some really well booked finishes, and maybe a couple not so well booked finishes as well. But and by the way, it's fun to be here doing a modern day current WWE pay-per-view. This is the first one we've done.
First one
for the show, and this was a fun one to start on. I know we were recording, we had been podcasting for SummerSlam, but we were kind of just starting and wanted to get our bearings, I think, a little bit more beneath us before we started kind of into the current show. So this is a good first one, I think.
Yeah, one thing I noticed about this show and what we've kind of been seeing, because we obviously are keeping up with the current product. The pay-per-views lately for WWE have been super top-heavy in that the first half seems to have a ton of action, and it's really got you sold oh my God, this is going to be the greatest pay-per-view of all time. And then you kind of get a couple strange finishes like here, and then towards the end, I didn't have the best taste in my mouth at the end, and everyone remembers the final scene of the movie, but God, there was a ton of great matches, just fantastic wrestling, and great spots.
Yeah. I totally agree. Well, should we not waste any more time? Should we get right into it?
Let's get it.
So, first off, Luke, what did you think of the kickoff match? I just want to ask you this right off the bat.
Oh, wait, we have a guy who didn't show up for the kickoff match.
Oh, ouch, that's right.
That's right. Somebody isn't taking their podcasting life seriously.
Yeah, when I messaged the message group with 3 o'clock, I think Luke must have meant 3:45 or 4 o'clock.
It was more like 3:57.
Yeah,
that's very true. Pre-shows, 3 o'clock, main cards, 4. I tried to toe the line, and...
you missed a very good match.
Classic Luke fashion,
So all ribbing aside, we did have a kickoff match, and it was the New Day versus Rusev Day battling for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships, the battle of the day brands against each other. And like Kyle said off the top, what a good solid kickoff match. I wish that this would not have been on the kickoff show. This was definitely main card worthy.
It was really fun.
Yeah, it was. Just to kind of get into some of the action here.
Dude, it was great.
Yeah, it was. You really messed with a good one.
You go outside for this one.
So right off the bat, there's a monkey flip from Kofi countered into a double leg takedown, which was a near fall. Kofi got caught off a crossbody into a fallaway slam by Rusev, which was really nice. Rusev just flexing his big man muscles throughout this match, and that's what Rusev does best. That's where you want Rusev to be, I feel like, in a spot like that. Anything to add for that spot, Luke?
That was actually my favorite spot of the match.
Awesome.
I was very impressed.
Awesome. Big E then gets tagged in, and he just gives 2 belly-to-belly suplexes, I believe, to English, and then a splash. Then Rusev comes in, knocks Big E down, gives him a spinning heel kick for a near fall. English comes back in. Rusev gets sent out of the ring. Big E takes Rusev outside. He doesn't see the tag, which causes Aiden to do a flying over the top rope senton.
That was sweet.
I don't know where Aiden English pulled that from, but it was awesome.
It was crazy. It was one of those moments that you're just kind of like, oh, I didn't know he had that in his arsenal. And
yeah, he'd been reserving it for this one kickoff show.
You know what's crazy?
Match.
He's full of surprises.
Is when English came up with him and Gotch. I forget what they're vaudevillains. I kind of thought he was boring.
Yeah.
I didn't really see much in him, and then he's really kind of broken out of his shell with the Rusev Day and has been very entertaining.
I think the Vaudevillains were a gimmick that were very good in NXT, but it was also the kind of gimmick that like a Vince McMahon led WWE was never going to give the time of day to. It wasn't going to last.
I kind of like the Vaudevillains gimmick, but it never got the push, kind of like the Ascension and kind of like Sanity. It was a good gimmick, and they just wouldn't push them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Aiden, that top rope senton was really nice, and I think he had a couple of really nice spots in this match, but that was the first one that kind of Kyle and I were both kind of like, whoa, didn't know he could do that. I'm sure Luke would have been saying it.
I was a little unimpressed with that one, so that's why I didn't really react that way.
Yeah.
It was also cool because English did the accolade in this match, too.
Yeah, and I guess we can kind of lead into that. This is towards the end of the match, so...
Spoilers.
Aiden English gets the accolade locked in, and the crowd's going crazy at this point, and you can kind of see Rusev on the outside, like, he wants to get tagged in, so he's getting a little aggravated, but then... at the same time, he obviously wants them to win the match, and but you can tell he wants to get tagged in, like, hey, that's my move. But English does get the accolade sunk in for a bit. You think Kofi's going to tap, but then Kofi does get to the ropes, and then that kind of teased the dissension angle, which kind of, I think we all kind of thought was going to be the story coming out of this match for Rusev Day, but it kind of went into full effect here. Not to the point where they were, like, violent with each other, but... He hits the accolade, Rusev comes in, and he kicks Big E. Kofi comes in and breaks the hold. Big E comes back in and tackles Rusev outside, which causes Aiden to get distracted.
Who?
Aiden. Oh, and then Kofi hits a Trouble in Paradise to Aiden English. It teases a little bit more dissension, which causes the New Day to get the pinfall. The ending sequence of this match was a bit hard to like call or like kind of take down in notes. It was pretty good. I definitely recommend at least watching like the last few minutes of the match. And then again, we teased maybe another imminent breakup of Rusev Day.
Can I mention a spot I really liked in this match? Kofi was trying to run to the outside, and Big E pushed him up, and he jumped out and got kicked in the face by Rusev.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went flying out, and then right as he was going outside, it was the kick.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The Machka kick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. But overall, a good match. I gave it 3.8 stars. I think had I looked back at it after seeing the rest of the show, maybe I would have bumped it down a little bit, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with what my initial gut reaction was, which was a 3.8. A really solid kickoff match.
I rated it a 4.0. I thought it was the perfect way to start a pay-per-view. It sucks that some of the fans weren't even in their seats yet.
Yeah, the arena was like over half empty still at this point.
But for us, as we're watching, it really got my juices flowing and got me excited and got me ready to go. And Luke doesn't really have an opinion on this match.
No, I got a rating. No, it's 5 stars. It's the greatest match I've never seen.
So after that, we get right into Hell in a Cell. Well, we don't. There's some more pre-show nonsense, but that's the pre-show. So the first match of the night on the main card is Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton in the Cell.
I hear voices in my head.
Thank you. And so we see the cell start to get dropped in the beginning of the show.
The weird red cell.
Everybody knows it by now because everyone has seen the pictures on Twitter, but the Hell in a Cell was blood red this year. What did you guys think of the cell itself being red?
I mean, so I don't know. It was a little hard to watch at some points because of the red cell, but I kind of liked it at the same time because I thought it was fresh and new. But
yeah, I liked it in theory. However, I do feel like in execution, when they cut to the hard cam for the Hell in a Cell match, it was harder to see than it even usually is. Which it's already like a bit of a challenge to naturally see into the Hell in a Cell, but having that red just made it almost a wall when you were viewing it from the hard cam.
I think Kevin Dunn and everyone in the truck kind of learned their lesson with that first match. And honestly, I mean, I know WWE does everything they can to prepare beforehand, but I think that they kind of made some calls on the fly in that there was a lot more hard cam shots in this Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy match than the main event. So yeah, it was kind of weird. I mean, I like the symbolism of, blood and hardcore Hell in a Cell and all that. At first it was kind of hard to see through, but you get used to it. And
yeah.
in the main event, it wasn't even, to me, it wasn't really even an obstruction.
I agree. It'd be interesting to kind of like get a report from somebody who was there.
Yeah.
To see what it was like actually at the arena, but
seems like it would have been obnoxious.
I thought it was interesting. It was interesting to say the least.
Sure. Different.
So this match
freaking ruled.
Had some brutal things in it, and we'll get right into it. So the match starts out, and this is a blood feud, obviously, that Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton have been having. Orton has been playing this, yeah.
Jeff Hardy, throwback with the mesh.
Yeah, that's a
with
good
the
point.
mesh shirt, and then immediately giving props to recently retired Matt Hardy with the delete signs and all that. I mean, make sure I get that right. Delete signs. Thank you so much, Matt Hardy. You're a legend.
Yeah, thanks for everything, Matt. Obviously, the news came out that he is hanging up his boots seemingly, and what a career. We talked about him a lot on this show, even through the weeks. He's been featured on a lot of our shows. And
Friend of the podcast,
podcast, Matt Hardy. What a career for Matt.
What a creative genius.
And I think Jeff maybe showing a little symbol of respect and love for his brother on the way out. So right off the bat, obviously this has been a blood feud between Orton and Jeff. Orton wants to knock down a peg all of the people that the fans adore, and Jeff is like one of the people on the top of that list. It's so good, can I just say, to have like real dastardly heel Orton back.
Yeah, where he's not just going through the motions. And I got to admit, I don't really like modern day Randy Orton, but here he was channeling it. There's just the biggest gripe I think you hear with Randy Orton is that there's days where he tries, and then there's days where he's just there to collect the paycheck and go through the motions. This was not one of those days, and might I say he looked jacked AF.
This is one of my favorite Randy Orton matches in years.
Yeah, this match was super good. So it starts off, Hardy goes right after Orton to begin the match. He's getting him, striking him. He's really, going after him, and just all this pent-up frustration and anger from the last month and a half with Orton is coming right out. Orton got sent right into the cell to start it off, and then Jeff grabbed a table right off the bat, not wasting any time. You know what kind of match this is going to be. And then something that was kind of interesting was Jeff went to slide the table into the ring, and then Orton came on like the other corner, so like this corner, and Jeff was on this corner, and they were fighting over the table for a second, which is something I feel like I have never really seen in that capacity, which I thought was pretty interesting. So they're fighting over the table. It eventually does make its way into the ring. The table gets sent. Wait, what did I write down here? So Orton and Jeff fight over the table.
Yeah, so Randy's on the outside of the apron.
Yep. And then the table was sent into Orton on like a surf. He was like, Jeff rode it like a surfboard.
Well, it was like a surfboard / a baseball slide.
Yeah.
I had that it was a baseball slide.
He came off the ropes and just slid right into it, and that's something we haven't seen before.
That was really. There was a lot of unique offense.
Yeah, it was
by
sweet.
Both men in this match, which we'll get into. But that was like, that was one of the first kind of like spots of the match. Orton gets a chair at one point, and he just cracks this chair over Jeff Hardy's back.
Bent it, yeah.
With one shot, this chair was bent. He hit him, and then he just continued to just assault him, and then took the mesh shirt off, and then just gave him bare skin shots with the chair. He hit him several times with that chair. The chair would come back into it a little bit later, and then they went outside with the chair. Orton set up the chair in a very precarious position. I think we all knew what was happening with the chair at that point.
Just an obvious setup.
Went to go after Orton went after Jeff to send him into the chair. Obviously, Jeff countered it and then bounced off the chair and hit his Shining Wizard into the side of the cell on Orton. I think we all knew where that was going, but he got all he started kind of getting all of the greatest hits in here.
There you go.
And then Orton barely hits a superplex on Jeff when they get back into the ring. Jeff had to like really lay himself up to get, because Orton almost didn't get him over. It looked like on that superplex.
No, and that was great body control, because he had to mid-air adjust, or that would have been broken neck or something.
Orton with usually a great superplex too, by the way. So it was weird to see that one kind of.
That was like the only botch of the match, or near botch. They saved it. Yeah,
that was a near fall from Orton to Jeff, and then Hardy recovers, hits a Whisper in the Wind for a near fall. Another ladder comes out, which is much bigger. The first ladder was like a baby ladder, by the way. There was a ladder brought out early in the match. It was like this tiny stubby little ladder, and then he does bring out a real ladder.
There was a cool.
Yeah, did we miss this? Yeah,
there was a cool ladder spot where Jeff set it up like a V.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, upwards.
Yeah, upwards, and then
did an inverted suplex. Right?
Yeah, and what happened was he set up upside down.
Then Orton picked Jeff up and threw him onto it.
Jeff went for a suplex, and then Orton reversed it into a gutbuster and just threw him right onto the supports of the ladder.
Yeah, and his knee just smashed it, dude. That looked like a torn. That looked like an injury.
Yeah, and then they do get back in the ring, and then one of the weirder spots of the match was like Orton put Jeff opens the ladder and puts Jeff inside of it like a sandwich, like a Jeff Hardy ladder sandwich.
And then puts his head in a rung.
He puts his head through a rung, and I thought oh man, he's gonna slam this ladder onto Hardy, but he kind of just kicked him for a second and then got him out of the ladder. Unless I missed something because I was looking down, but he didn't really do anything with that.
No, he just kind of sandwiched him there.
Yeah, which I mean it was cool looking, I guess. Can I skip ahead a little bit because I really want to get to this part of the match that had us all marking out?
Oh yeah, well marking out or just my stomach was churning.
So Orton goes outside of the ring and he looks under the apron for something, and he's looking and looking, and then he grabs a toolbox.
Just spills it everywhere.
And he dumps his toolbox out, which was kind of funny because I was thinking, man, the guys in the production truck and the ring technicians
crew
are just like so pissed off at him. He's like, I'm gonna have to pick up all those tools after that. So he finds this perfect, like a pretty long screwdriver. This was like a 6 or 7 inch screwdriver, and I knew what was happening right away. Like I called the spot. I don't think either of you.
No, because we were hoping that shit wouldn't have happened.
It happened.
It was a little cringeworthy for me.
So he gets into the ring, and he takes the screwdriver and he puts it through Hardy. If you've been watching SmackDown, you'll know where this is going. He puts the screwdriver through like Hardy's gauge ear hole, like where his plugs usually go, and he puts it in and he starts pulling on it. But that's not enough for Orton. This is Hell in a Cell. He's got to pull out the big guns. So he takes the screwdriver and just starts twisting it. He you know how like those old rubber band airplanes used to have, where you'd put the rubber band in and you'd have to turn the propellers and then you'd throw it.
It's like that, but with flesh.
He did that, but to Jeff Hardy's ear skin. It was gnarly. And again, it was taking a call back to something we'd seen on SmackDown and just cranking the volume up to 11. It was gnarly.
Well, I've never had ear piercings or gauges or anything, so I didn't know exactly how resilient the earlobe is. So I'm like, dude, if his like it looked like his ear was just gonna like snap or something. It was
hard for me to watch.
God.
So needless to say, Jeff didn't like that spot because he got up and hits Randy Orton with a twist of fate. And then he kicks Orton in the dick. Dick kick city. I love dick trauma. And
And then Michael Cole's just, a low blow by Hardy, and it's all legal.
Directly after the man had a screwdriver jammed through his ear.
Yes, he was trying to rip the dude's ear off.
Jeff gets really fired up at this point. He does not like it when you finger his ears, or screw his ears, I should say. So he gets the chair from earlier, starts bashing him over the chair. And right before this, he had hit him. He has like the Hot Topic like studded belt, and so just before this, he like the belt was broken in half, and he was like lashing Orton with the belt. And I noticed he was bleeding. And at first I thought it was from the chair shots.
Orton's got blood all over him.
Yeah, and at first I'm like, did the chair have like a?
That's what I thought too.
Was the chair bent up so bad that it had a point? And then as you look at his back more, you realize no, it's stud marks from the belt.
Yeah, and then there's also like a big cut on Randy's leg.
And then you notice Randy was kind of like he was a bloody mess by the end of this match.
He must have got like scraped up or something because there was like skin hanging.
Yeah,
and that was gross too.
I loved the visual though of the stud marks from the belt in Randy's back. It looked brutal. And we were just like right before this moment, we were all talking about like, do we miss blood in WWE matches, because obviously there's no blading anymore, so all blood is hard way. And my stance on it was, I appreciate blood so much more now than I did then. And I don't know if some of that's just me being older and I don't want to see people with scarlet masks anymore. Really,
I love crimson mask.
Yeah,
thank you.
But and right after we're talking about that, Randy gets hardwayed, and it looked great, just because you could see the individual studs from this belt.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome. And so then I think Orton's had enough at this point. He's ready for the finish. Hits one more twist of fate, and by this point, both ladders and the table are set up in the ring. He hits another twist of fate to Orton, puts him on the table. He climbs the small ladder, and at first we're thinking, is he going to leapfrog over this ladder and leg drop Orton through the table? That wasn't quite his idea. So he goes from the small ladder, climbs the big ladder, looks up, and so there was these large supports coming down from the top of the cell. He grabs onto the supports, shimmies over above,
like the true spot monkey he is.
That's a good one. And then he shimmies over to directly above Randy on the table, swings 3 times. Randy moves, and he splashes himself through the table. I marked out.
Yeah,
it was sweet.
It was awesome. And then the ref immediately calls for the cell to be lifted up. He's hurt, he can't go. And then Randy rolls him over and insists that the ref counts.
Yeah, do your job!
Do your job. So he lays on Hardy. The referee reluctantly counts 3 for the win, and then Hardy's taken out in a stretcher. This match was insane.
It was awesome.
You did miss a really good spot, I think.
Yeah, let's hear it.
It was Jeff Hardy put the chair on Randy Orton and hit a swanton onto the chair.
I think that's what made his leg bleed, I think. Because that's when I noticed his leg started bleeding.
And then I think he only got like a 2. I don't even know if he went for the pin on it.
He got a near fall.
Yeah, he got a near fall.
I remember saying, did he just get a near fall off of a swanton with a chair?
It was a really cool spot, I thought.
There was a lot of kind of unique offense in this match by both Hardy and Orton, and at this point, like every Hell in a Cell pay-per-view that comes along, we keep thinking, well, we're not going to see anything new, or we're not going to see anything groundbreaking. And I don't know that any of this was groundbreaking, but there were some really interesting things that you don't see.
Yeah, no, I saw
ever.
several spots that I've never seen before.
And so that, to me, just made this match worth every minute of watching. What a cool way to start the main show. I'll give it 4 stars.
I'll give it 4.25. I thought it was a lot of stuff that I haven't seen in a Hell in a Cell before, with like the flippy thing from the top and the baseball slide into the
table.
table, and there was just a lot of really good stuff that I haven't seen in Hell in Cells before. And Jeff Hardy was saying he was going to give us stuff that we haven't seen before, and I thought it was really excellent.
Yeah,
So 4.25 is my final score on that.
Yeah, and mine's gonna be 4 stars. It was incredible. The crowd was completely into it. WWE's been doing fantastic with their openers lately. They've really been able to get the crowd going. Yeah, definitely. And the thing too, for Randy Orton, I kind of want to give him some props here because there's a lot of times where I feel like I don't want to, so I'm going to take advantage of this moment. Since his heel turn, we've kind of been talking. I haven't been able to catch a lot of the regular shows, but I really loved how this didn't have a finisher. Like he didn't hit an RKO for a finish or anything, and then you kind of informed me that since his heel turn, he hasn't been using the RKO.
Yeah, he hasn't used it one time since his heel turn, which is so smart because it's going to get a babyface pop anytime he uses the RKO. I think so to avoid it has just been like kind of like a wink and a nod to like the Smark fans out there, you know?
Go ahead, Kyle.
Oh, I was just going to say, I kind of like the sadistic Randy. I do wish that he would have actually pulled up Hardy and either hit a punt or an RKO.
I totally agree.
And just to show that he's just a ruthless
or
asshole.
even like as he's being stretchered out, you know, take the gurney off and take the backboard off that he's on and throw him into the post or something. Like, it could have used one more, like, big exclamation point at the end of the segment.
And that's not me bitching or anything. That's just me throwing out an idea.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the biggest, or at least you hear a lot of wrestlers say one of the biggest gripes of the current product is the overuse of finishers and huge moves for just near falls, so it makes the finishers mean less. So when there's actual matches that don't end with a finisher, I kind of mark out for those, and I mean, those are few and far between. So
we did have a few tonight, though.
Excellent, man. Excellent.
Yeah, I agree. So after that, we go backstage. AJ Styles is getting interviewed, and he says he's going to retain his title.
He's laser focused, and he's pissed.
He is not happy.
He's had enough. Joe has been
trying to abduct his family.
He's trying to run away with his family, and he does not care for that. After that, we get a Becky and Charlotte video package. Real solid video package. This feud has just been white hot. Becky Lynch is like quickly emerging as one of the most over talents on either roster. And seeing her kind of play this like tweener, like not a baby face, but not a heel character has been really awesome. Kyle, would you like to add something?
Oh, I just got to say, Becky is about as hot as her hair. It's red hot.
Nice, dude. Way to control yourself.
Thank you for that critical analysis, Kyle.
No, she looked
great.
She looked fantastic. Charlotte did too.
No, yeah, both
of their outfits were awesome.
Both these ladies have great presence about them.
Yeah.
That's like a nice way to kind of insinuate, I think, what Kyle was... That's what Kyle meant to say.
Oh, he's hot to trot. Don't even try.
Yeah, true. No. And then after that, we do get the match. Charlotte, who is the champion, versus Becky for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. I did miss a bit of this match because I was getting pizza for the boys.
Appreciate that, pal.
No problem. But what I did see, I did enjoy. I kind of got halfway through, so do you guys want to kind of go through the first half?
Hit it, Kyle.
Yeah, so, I mean, the match started out with a little bit of chain wrestling between the two, and they're pretty good at everything they do. But then there's a botched figure 4 attempt reversed into an armbar by Becky, and I thought that was pretty cool. A couple spears in the corner by Charlotte. Let's see, lots of submission spots were in the match.
No, tons of counters and reversals for sure.
Yeah.
Lots of great chain wrestling. I mean, just two great technical wrestlers going at it.
The first spot I have written down here, and I don't know what spot in the match this was when Charlotte hit a basement drop kick to Becky on the outside of the ring. I think that was about halfway through the match. Maybe, yes?
Yep.
No? And then, I don't know, I didn't know how to call this spot, but I said Charlotte hit like an arm drop onto the apron, onto Becky. Like it was almost like a fireman's carry, like arm bar drop onto the apron outside of the ring. I don't know what to call that spot, but it looked really good. Apron spots always get me going. Like
hardest part of the ring.
It's the hardest. It's the hardest part of the ring. I don't, and then we saw some apron spots tonight. Did anybody catch a hardest part of the ring from Cole or Phillips?
We did talk through a lot of it, but I didn't.
I didn't catch a hardest part of the ring,
but we did talk a lot during the show.
And I'm not going to complain about a non-call for that because that phrase haunts my dreams.
That's cliche.
It really is. So then they get back into the ring. Charlotte hits a backslide and then just starts doing her chops. She's chopping everybody, and by everybody I mean Becky several times.
Woo!
The crowd's wooing them up. What do you guys think of Charlotte's chops? I don't think they're the best.
I mean, for a female, I think they're one of the best out of the female wrestlers.
Yeah, can you name a female that has a better chop?
Ric Flair doesn't count. He's a man.
Ric Flair.
Woo!
No, I guess I know what you mean. But
You're gonna wake up the kids.
yeah, man, I got kids, man.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good. Charlotte is chopping. Charlotte gets a kick in on Becky's head and then misses for a moonsault. And can we just say, her moonsault form, man.
Dude, it's I mentioned this. She might be top 5 like
she has a great moonsault
of all time of anybody.
She like folds herself in half.
Her moonsault's really good.
She's just an athletic freak.
She does miss it here though.
She definitely passes up Essa Rios.
Oh, definitely.
He's underrated moonsault.
So she does miss the moonsault, which allows.
So it's better.
Right. Everything else was kind of mad with him, but moonsault was great.
I just had to bring up a random name that people probably don't even know.
I always played as him as No Mercy for some reason.
He came in with Lita. People forget that.
Yeah.
Oh, I actually forgot that.
Yeah, he and Lita were a thing when that was like Lita's introduction, right, to wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
See?
Okay. I didn't even know that.
A little go back in the Wayback Machine for that one.
The encyclopedia didn't know.
I was gonna say I'll pull out my WWE encyclopedia tonight and flip through the pages.
Make that entry.
Because I have 2.
Do you actually?
Yeah.
They're like atlases?
My Aunt Sharon, friend of the podcast, who bought a t-shirt. For Christmas, like back-to-back years, she bought me like the WWE encyclopedia that has just like everybody in it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So she does miss that moonsault though, as beautiful as it was. She does miss and land right on her tummy and her face, which does allow Charlotte to make a move. She gets a triangle in. She's got the hold in, good looking triangle, and then Charlotte decides, I don't like being triangled, so she deadlift power bombs Becky.
Rampage Jackson-esque.
It was awesome.
Yeah, picked her up with one arm and just pop!
And just slams her right down onto the mat. And does not win with that spot, although she could have, and I would have believed it, but she does not. They do get up to their knees. They're each trading forearms. Becky hits a reverse DDT for a near fall, or Charlotte hits a reverse DDT for a near fall. I apologize. I just want to talk more about that triangle spot, man. That was really cool.
Yeah, I really thought this pay-per-view had a lot of MMA throwback types, and I think that was a good one. I think it showed that she's strong and she was able to get out of the submission.
For sure.
Boom, Ricardo Arona all over again.
And the crowd was super into it too.
And
they liked that spot.
If any of you guys are wrestling fans that have never seen, or not MMA fans, you need to look up the Rampage Jackson slam to Ricardo Arona. It's brutal.
He wrecked him.
Yeah, he killed him.
But that's the thing. You're absolutely right. There was a lot of MMA type moves and a lot of callbacks to that. But these two are just amazing sellers. Like, let's be honest here. They're just fantastic, both technically sound, and they just make every move look excruciating. So they're...
Oh, for sure.
They're excellent, and so they had the crowd believing and hanging on every single move.
Yeah, and awesome. Then so after that, they get back on their knees. They're trading forearms, and then Becky gets trapped in the Boston Crab. She does escape, but she gets sent back into the post, shoulder first, and that she gets up after that, gets the disarm her in, kind of out of nowhere. Disarm her out of nowhere. Got it locked onto Charlotte. Charlotte escapes, and then Charlotte runs into the corner, hits a spear, and then Becky reverses it into a roll-up and wins the SmackDown Live Women's Championship.
Loved it.
The finish of this match was so good. Everything from that triangle spot on was just quick, fast-paced, and back and forth. Like, Becky would get one move in, Charlotte would get the other. So what a fitting way to end the match.
It was kind of a slow start that really, in the middle, really picked up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, and there's one thing that WWE has always been good at least I will say for the most part, more than any other company, is the finishes. I mean, they really bring it home, and those final exchanges, those final sequences just get you hype. And, I mean, this one was no exception. And I know we talked, was that last week, Jeff Hardy and Triple H?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that I kind of had that rant last week of Jeff Hardy hitting like a swanton, twist of fate, and all that, and then Triple H just reversing the pin after taking like 3 finishers. This one made a lot more sense and just used the momentum of the spear to roll her up and then had her pinned down. So I love the finish, and I'll go ahead and lead it off and say 3 stars on this one.
I gave it 3.5. I thought it was a very excellent match. I thought it told a great story, and I thought it showed that Becky finally got the big one.
I'm at 3.5 as well. The ending sequence of this match I thought was really good.
Fuck me then.
Brought it up. Yeah, seriously.
You're a tough critic, pal.
Yeah.
I just didn't like how slow it started out, but
That's fair. No, 3 stars is still better than the average, and it was certainly a better than average match.
Oh, yeah.
Post-match, Becky and Charlotte are kind of facing off. Becky's got her new title. Charlotte goes for a handshake, kind of like a good job, good sportsmanship move. Becky is having none of it. Holds the title in Charlotte's face. The crowd goes absolutely bananas.
Oh, yeah.
And then she leaves. I liked that there was no further beatdowns by either woman because it keeps Becky's status as a tweener, and she's essentially just an aggressive babyface at this point. But it protects that status, and it keeps Charlotte as kind of a white meat traditional babyface.
I kind of feel like it showed that Charlotte's more confused why her friend turned on her, you know?
Because she still hasn't figured it out.
Yeah, because like at SummerSlam, Becky turned on her, and they were buds, you know? I mean, we've all had a friend who's turned their back on you, and Charlotte's trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So after that, we get a backstage New Day interview segment, and I'll
with
let you gentlemen talk about this.
Bootyworth. Oh, you're gonna fix that camera real quick. Yeah, hey, you're a freaking magician, dude. We got the camera situation figured out.
So the segment is the New Day celebrating backstage with their butler named Bootyworth, and they throw it's just random. It's kind of dumb.
It's awesome. It's classic
laughed.
New Day.
Yeah, I laughed. It was kind of dumb.
And
then Kofi goes and grabs a costume. Who's he supposed to be?
He is
This is Kramer Kingston.
Kramer Kingsman.
Oh, he said Kingsman, really?
He's a Kramer Kingsman. I think he goes back and forth because on SmackDown it was definitely Kramer Kingsman. It's hard to understand. Basically, he's playing this old crotchety white man interviewer.
Yeah, like a Gene Okerlund spinoff.
Yeah.
No, that was incredible. Great. And then they celebrated with Bootyworth by taking a Gatorade bucket. Like they said, time for the celebration or whatever. And instead of, Gatorade or water, it was full of pancakes, naturally, New Day style.
And then Big E is like shoving them in Bootyworth's face. And you can tell that Big E and Bootyworth are trying so hard not to laugh.
Not to just lose it.
Bootyworth had to stick a pancake in his mouth to stop himself. I could tell he was biting down so hard on that pancake so he wouldn't just burst out in laughter.
Does anybody else just wish they were Bootyworth right there so they could have pancakes just shoved in their mouth?
I mean, from the New Day, sure.
Dude, the New Day are just.
Wait. Would you not just want me and Zach to put pancakes in your mouth?
Why do you hate us,
excellent, dude.
What?
I'll go make
you're not a pancake fan?
No. I'm a
Get out
pancake
of America.
Stop.
Get out of America.
Quit, man.
He likes crepes.
Oh, go back to France.
I love crepes. Ricky Bobby reference, sorry.
Yeah, I know. I got it. I got the reference.
Thanks, pal.
Can we just take a second, just New Day appreciation?
Dude, they can do whatever they want.
They're the best.
They've just got charisma coming out of their ears.
Yeah, I said this during their segment, but they might be one of the only groups of people who aren't forced to read from a script every week, and they can just kind of wing it and do their own thing. And they're so talented.
I think it would be a mistake to break them up.
I hope they never break up.
I agree. And there's a lot of groups that they run their course, but I feel like these guys just keep reinventing themselves.
Well, even if they're not a traditional stable or unit anymore, and they don't wrestle in tag team matches, all 3 of these guys could be having singles runs, but still be part of the New Day. Does that make sense?
Kind of like the Shield was doing for a while.
Exactly.
Yes.
They could all be kind of off in their own stories and off doing
their
own
things. But they just enhance each other.
They'd all
so
have
well.
each other's backs.
Yeah, exactly. They'd all still be together, and they'd still be the New Day. I think. But again, like Kyle said, they're so good at reinventing themselves and coming up with new weird food-related gimmicks.
Or unicorn.
That they're able to just stay relevant. And this was a fun segment. It's nice to have the New Day back on top.
I will say that you mentioned that all of them could have successful singer runs, and they have. But I think that Big E and Kofi especially could have good ones. And I love Xavier, but he's just... as like that third or second person, he brings so much more to the table, to me anyway. He's just such a good accessory wrestler or an accessory performer that I think he's way better in that role than he is if he was just a singles competitor. But then again, I didn't get to catch him too much when he was. So
No, I agree. Kofi
was when he had that little run against Randy Orton, right?
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Kofi's great. I mean,
man.
all three of them, I could see
The Sean Kingston version of Kofi.
I could see all three of them having like legit singles runs.
Yeah, they could.
Also, I apologize if you guys hear that motorcycle revving its engine outside of the window, but we're live.
Shut up.
What can you do? After that, no video package or anything, I don't think, unless I didn't write it down. We go straight into Drew and Dolph versus Seth and Dean for the tag team belts. Was there a video package before this match?
Nope.
I didn't think so. But to be fair, all the video package would have just involved all three versus Braun and Drew and Dolph, because they've all kind of like had their stories lumped together. So I kind of understand that. But we do get the Raw tag team match. Drew and Dolph are the current champions, and they're going to be facing off against Seth and Dean, who, by the way, don't come out to their Shield entrance. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
They come out separate.
They come out separate. I don't know who. Were you guys surprised by that? I was a bit surprised.
Yeah, well, and they weren't. I mean, they were just in their respective uniforms. So I think if they did come out to that Shield entrance, that they would kind of have to commit to the flak jackets and all that. And they're still. I'm getting a little bit tired of the Shields being rehashed just when they're trying to keep it. Just when they're like they know they can go back to it over and over. But in this case, this time around, they're kind of keeping their. I mean, they're doing a lot better job of keeping their individuality. And can I say, Dean Ambrose? I've over the years haven't been that big of a fan, but good lord, his traps are juicy. And that medium shirt makes him look fantastic.
He looks so great. I'm gonna say right off the bat, this was my match of the night.
Ooh,
this was a fantastic match.
Yeah. Oh, it was killer, nonstop.
Yeah, you know what? I gotta say it's up there for my match of the night too, tied with the Hell in a Cell, the Jeff and Orton one.
Yeah, this
had my best rating, so yeah, match of the night.
See, exactly what I'm saying.
Sure.
So the match starts. Seth and Dolph start. They do a little chain wrestling sequence. Dean gets tagged in. He and Seth double team Dolph, and then Seth comes back in. Drew comes in. Drew shoulder tackles Seth just out of his shoes. Drew's a good big man.
Oh yeah, dude. You know, I always forget how huge he is until he gets in the ring, especially around other people. More that are supposed to be, because he's not like a super heavyweight,
right.
Even though he definitely could be. Like he's just bigger than everyone else, and it's imposing.
And it shows.
Yeah.
And then Dean comes back in again. A lot of frequent tags in the beginning of this match, just kind of establishing the teamwork aspect of everybody. A lot of double teams. So Dean comes back in, takes out Drew's knees, and then he gets a backslide for a near fall. Dean gets taken out while there's a distraction outside. Seth and Dolph are kind of chasing each other outside, which distracts Dean just long enough to get taken out. And then Ziggler and McIntyre double team Dean in the corner, and then a sleeper hold. The classic jump up on a man's back and give him a sleeper hold. That Dolph does. Just classic Dolph. We got a lot of classic Dolph in this match.
Sure.
Things start to pick up here. Seth comes in, hits an enziguri to Dolph Ziggler, and then Dolph leaps up in the air and just plants Seth on his head with the DDT.
He's probably got the nicest DDT in the company right now.
Oh, I agree.
He has a great DDT.
And his super kicks up there too. Dolph, my thing with him is he copies a lot, but what he does copy and what his signatures are, he does very well.
I feel like Dolph's the bump master.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, he's the Sean of selling right now.
Dude takes nutso bumps.
Yeah.
And then Seth gets double teamed in the corner by Ziggler and McIntyre, and then we get a little bit of a rest hold spot. Not going to complain about it in this instance, because hey, these guys need to breathe.
Yeah, they were going nonstop, dude.
And the crowd was into it, and it allowed the babyfaces to get back into it. Seth gives Dolph a nice sidewalk slam. Seth tries to tag Dean, but he gets pulled down. Dean gets pulled down by Drew to the outside, which was really nice. And then Drew comes in and gets this huge Alabama slam. I believe he gave it to Seth. Because Seth was still on at this point.
Like an inverted one.
Yeah, it was like an inverted Alabama
he landed
slam.
on his chest.
But he had like full rotate.
Oh yeah.
It was like the way, like, you know how when you do a pillow fight with your kid when you're a kid with like your siblings, and you like really swing,
you're swinging for the
you
damn
like
fences.
really swing that pillow. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, like a JBL head chair shot.
But instead of a pillow, it was a man that he did.
Yeah,
that.
that was brutal.
It was awesome. I don't know if I marked out a little bit too much over that. But it was awesome. And then so Drew is kind of getting walked back into the corner, and Dean does get tagged in here, but Drew was able to kind of cheat his body in a way so the ref didn't see it. And so the tag is not counted as legal. I thought that was really smart booking. And it really made Drew, like, the announce crew was really putting over, like, how smart Drew was, because he knew where the referee was, and he knew that, do you know what I'm trying to, like, he knew how to make the tag not be seen.
Man, McIntyre's got a future on him. This guy, like, I know they kind of botched his first run, and then he went to Impact, and he like got
showed
built,
what he was capable of.
He got built back up,
Yep.
and he's back, and I'm just seeing, like, I see the Diesel Shawn breakup in the future between Dolph and McIntyre, and I think it's going to be a lot better than the Diesel Shawn.
I agree.
Because, I mean, no offense to Diesel.
Drew is miles ahead of where Nash was at that time, at least.
Oh, yeah. So
One, he's not quite 7 foot. He's not like huge, big, and slow. You know.
This is the point of the match when I'm just straight up going to start reading from my notes, because from this point on, the match was just an absolute chaos.
Intensity.
In the
It was
best
so fun.
way.
Yeah.
At this point, the Alabama Slam spot, I was like, this is like a 3.5 star match. Like, this is a good, solid tag team match. Everything else that happened here was just like rapid fire insanity. So Seth gets on the top, hits a blockbuster to Drew McIntyre. Dean's finally able to get tagged in. The crowd is hot for it. He takes everyone out. He goes for a dirty deeds, but it gets countered. Dean gets rolled up by Drew. Drew gets sent into the post outside, or to Dolph, sorry. Drew gets sent into the post outside. Dean eats this huge exploder suplex into the corner. He landed right on his head.
Huge.
He landed right on his head in the corner. And then Seth comes in. He gets a springboard takedown, tries for a suicide dive, but gets caught by Drew and Dolph. And then Dean comes out and takes everyone out onto the side, which was really cool. I loved the teamwork aspect of scouting Seth's offense, knowing he's going to go for the suicide dive, and working together to catch him. Just A+ tag team work by a still relatively new tag team. There was a lot of good tag work like that in this match.
Well, and that's what's kind of wild is that all four of these guys are excellent solo performers. I mean, granted, the Shield started out together, so they've got that experience. But all of these guys are such excellent solo performers that they just know how to work a match any way you slice it. So these are just four high-quality superstars just putting it all out there.
and another thing is the tag team division on Raw is kind of in a shitty state.
Yeah, they pretty much had to revive.
And so I know you guys aren't crazy about the Shield reunion, but I feel like the Shield reunion and Dolph and McIntyre have been a shot in the arm to give them a little bit of a tag team division. I'm not buying the B team as a legitimate.
No.
These guys have probably won 5 matches in 5 years, and now they're pushed up to be a tag team contender. I'd rather see Heath Slater and Rhino get a title run than the B team.
No, I agree. I think that I'm not anti-Shield. Really. I just think you can only go back to the well so many times, and I feel like a large reason that they put the Shield back together was to just, they're trying anything they can to get Roman positively received.
And I get that, but if you remember when Dean went out with the injury,
it
was when they were the Shield. And Seth and Roman have always kept a on-screen friendship where they teamed up together during certain points.
Right.
Even when they were enemies.
Yeah. I mean, so as you were talking with the New Day, that they'd be apart but still work together. Dean and Roman have been doing that for months.
No.
So
I
if Seth needs a partner, Roman's there. If Roman needs a partner, Seth's there.
And I guess that kind of is like a two-pronged approach, because you're putting them together to help Roman kind of get the babyface reaction that the company thinks he needs to get, and also you're aiding a tag team division on Raw that is just terrible for the most part right now.
And it gives Dean a good story to insert back into to help his buddy.
I think the one thing that I'm kind of bummed out about surrounding it is just the fact that the Intercontinental title has just been a complete afterthought since the Shield reformed, because they've been solely focused on Dolph and Drew, and maybe they win the titles at the end of the feud, maybe they don't, but I remember just that run that Rollins had before Drew originally beat him for the title as being some of the most enjoyable Raw TV
Dolph,
that I had seen, because Seth's reign before Dolph had it.
Yeah, you said Drew.
before Drew beat me.
I'm stupid.
We got you.
Yeah.
No, stop.
But
that reign that Seth had, I thought was so good, and he was really like bringing relevance to the mid card titles, which is so rare these days in WWE.
I really liked their match at, was it Extreme Rules? The
Iron Man?
The
Yeah,
Iron
the
Man
Iron
that
Man
main
match.
evented, even though the crowd would be a bunch
crowd
of
just shit
jackasses,
all over it.
I thought it was a great match.
Fantastic.
And then
I
I
did too.
thought their SummerSlam match was really good too,
Yeah.
with the two guys in the corner.
I loved their SummerSlam
And
match.
so this was another really good match.
Yeah.
But I'll let you continue.
Yeah, so after Dean took everyone out, the two legal men duke it back into the corner, which is Dolph and Seth. Seth hits a Falcon Arrow for a near fall to Dolph. He teases the stomp, but he misses. Dolph gets him down. Dolph teases the stomp, which is really interesting. But then instead, he eats a buckle bomb. So like as Dolph's foot was in the air,
He caught
Seth
him.
bounced up, caught
Yeah.
the foot, and just gave him this huge buckle bomb. I love the buckle bomb.
I do too.
Yep.
Drew comes in and he gets sent right back out. We get dual roll ups. So Dolph goes for a roll up for a 2 count. Then Seth goes to a roll up for a 2 count. And then out of nowhere, Dolph hits a zigzag for a near fall. Super kick to Drew from Seth. Because Drew does get tagged in at this point. There were tags. I don't even know if some of these had tags.
Well,
but
Seth hit super kicks to both of them.
yeah, so he does. So he super kicks Dolph, who does manage to get the tag. Drew comes in, eats one super kick, and then he's on his knees, eats another super kick,
And frog splash.
and then hits a huge frog splash
Onto the back.
onto the
yeah.
back of. I love like.
I like seeing that.
I know. I think the moves like that, when like splashes that are normally into somebody's stomach, when you do it on their back, it just makes it seem like, oh man, it must hurt a lot more.
And it's just different too, because you can usually see it coming if they're always set up in a certain spot. So
Yeah.
when they mix it up like that,
Yeah,
pretty
it,
awesome.
It does get a near fall though. Drew manages to kick out, and then we tease a double superplex with Dean and Seth both attempting to superplex.
Yep.
Drew. Dolph is able to break it up. Seth misses a dive to the outside. It wasn't just like a normal suicide dive. He went over the top rope and just thudded onto the ground.
Yeah.
He hit the ground hard there. And then back inside the ring, Drew clotheslines Dean out of his pants, and then does just this big man kip up that is just watch this kip up.
no, it's. I mean, you've got your Shawn Michaels slow and drawn out, and The Rock too, but this was the quickest kick
It was like
I've
our
ever
TV
seen.
skipped
And this dude, yeah, dude, and this dude is gigantic, just a freak.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then Dean gets put in the electric chair. Drew, I'm guessing, it looks like he's going for like a
Doomsday
extra
device.
big like doomsday device, or maybe a blockbuster because he's on top of Drew's shoulders. And Dean is able to fight Drew, and he is able to get off of Dolph's shoulders. Seth comes in out of nowhere like a leopard, and he hits the superplex. He goes for the Falcon Arrow. When he's in the middle of hitting, because you know he does the combo move, when he'll hit the superplex, roll immediately into the Falcon Arrow. As he's in the middle of hitting that move, Drew comes back in, claymores Seth, who falls down. Drew gets the pin while he's unconscious.
Dolph
Gets the
Dolph
pin.
got the pin.
I don't know why I keep getting them confused.
Drew, Dolph, Dean.
Yeah, see?
Seth.
Dolph gets the pin while he's out for the 3 count, and Dolph and Drew retain their titles. Whoo, boy.
Really, really good match.
This match was
Oh my god, yeah.
fantastic.
Well, and how many false finishes were there?
1,000.
Towards the end, it seemed like there was
And
one
the
every
crowd was
second.
just
The
crowd
crowd,
was on fire.
the crowd was behind this match 110%, and I can see why.
Yeah.
Well, and we're really just watching this going, just the
There was
whole
like
time.
it was like I wanted to just like stop putting notes down and like just watch the match. It
Yeah.
was so
Yeah.
entertaining. I'm gonna give it 4.25. This is the match to watch. This or the first Hell in a Cell match. This match was fantastic.
I got 4 1/3 stars, so I'm gonna boost it up above the Hell in a Cell match.
All right,
because
all right.
I think it was better. I think this was easily the match of the night, and you know, I might go out on a limb here and say on the WWE main roster, this might be one of the matches of the year.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely
I
is.
can't think.
It absolutely
I
is.
can't think of. I know NXT has matches that are better. I mean, there was the one before WrestleMania that had 2 5-star matches.
Yeah,
on it?
that was the one, the Gargano
Ciampa.
And then the
Ciampa.
ladder match. But on the main roster, I can't think of a match right now that was better than this one this year.
Yeah, this was definitely one of the best main roster matches of the year for sure.
Did you just flying headbutt your microphone?
I did. Cool. After
Hey,
that,
what?
sorry, Luke. I'm
4
sorry.
1/4? God.
I thought you already said that.
Yeah, typical. Just leaving me behind.
Yeah, kind of like he left us behind for the pre-show.
Nice.
After that, we get a. Oh, sorry, Luke. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah.
You
No,
got more
no, it's
dishes
fine.
to do, boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up. So we did get a Drew McIntyre classic. Is he Irish or Scottish?
Scottish.
Yeah, a classic Scottish. Disqualify his arse.
Yeah, talking about Dean when he broke
yeah.
up a pinfall attempt, and then post match, we see Drew carrying Dolph's lifeless body to the
just
back.
fireman's carrying him while he's like just limp
Dead.
holding his title.
So
Yeah.
I gotta say, we talked about this earlier, and I've always been a Dean Mark, but he did grow really stale for a little bit, and I think
Yes.
this return.
This is saving him.
I think this
Yes.
has really rejuvenated him, and I think when the Shield first reunited with Daddy Kurt and all that stuff, he looked better, but like I'm seeing it now, the Dean that like I as a fan fell in love with.
Yeah, I think as long as they don't stray back into like the comedy.
The comedy's fine
nonsense.
for a little bit. It's kind of like Kurt Angle. It was kind of like Kurt Angle. You can have your comedy spots, but you got to make sure the in-ring work is still, A+.
Did he get called the lunatic fringe once?
No.
And one thing too is when he was getting stale, he was going back to those. He was just going back to a lot of moves all the time. So I will say I'm not a big fan of his working punch. He is one of those who tries to, he's the brawler.
Yeah.
Right? So he tries to get the little short punches in. Some of them are just meh.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't know if I saw him do one time that when he was stale, he used to do all the time.
The lunatic lariat?
ropes?
Yeah. So, well, but what you're saying, Kyle?
Which is that?
Oh, is it the lunatic lariat?
Where he hits the ropes and comes back
and then
gets
hits.
them?
Yeah, that's called the lunatic lariat. He didn't do that one time in this
Yeah,
match.
did not do it one time when he went
I
backwards.
actually haven't seen him do it since he's been back.
I've seen him do it once, I think, but
Which-
he didn't hit a second rope axe handle, which is a move he did all the other second rope
the
elbow.
lunatic lariat's cool every so often. Like
I agree.
It's a fun move.
I agree.
But
He
you
was
can't
doing it like
overdo it.
every match.
Yeah, you can't
every
do it
time he
every
hit the
match.
ropes, he was doing it.
Yeah. So that was really good. Watch that match.
Really good.
After that, we had a mixed match challenge video package. Either of you gentlemen excited for the mixed match challenge? Mitch?
Meh.
You know what I meant.
If I'm able to follow it from start to finish, yeah. This is a weird thing that I kind of commented on in these promos. There was like some weird sexual tension
Between
some
Alexa
of them.
and
like
Braun
Alexa Bliss
especially.
and Braun. It was like at the end, it was like once we defeat whoever they're facing, once
We're
we
gonna
defeat
go all
so and
the way.
so, Alexa's like, we're gonna go all the way, and they're like selfieing themselves,
Yeah.
and Braun just like.
Like, what up,
I
girl?
think the thing for me with the mixed, I can't say that.
Mixed
Number
match
one, I
challenge?
can't say it. Number two, there's just so much wrestling already. Like I'm watching Raw and SmackDown. I'm watching NXT every week.
And I'm
I'm trying to catch up on Impact.
And
Like,
then
I
that's just
really
like-
want to watch Impact.
205
Yeah.
Live, Ring of Honor. Like
Well,
there's-
and then this is like non-canon.
yeah, the Mae Young Classic is going on right now
Yep.
too. Like I just don't have time for like. There's no stakes attached to it. There's nothing on the line. Like
Yeah.
it's just more wrestling, which is always a good thing. But I digress. After that, we get an AJ and Joe video package, which wasn't even a traditional video package. It was literally just the storybook angle from
Replaying.
Tuesday replayed. But damn, this was so good.
You missed
You
out
guys.
on Foley and Braun running into each other backstage, but that wasn't really notable.
Oh yeah, I did.
It was just
forgot about it.
Mick. Yeah,
It was just Mick. Have a nice day.
well, it was Mick saying like this structure changes
Yeah,
you. Trust
yeah.
me, and Braun's just like, I'm big and I'm gonna beat his ass. Yeah, that was
Yep.
really.
But then we got to the great Joe thing, and then we got to a great match.
Yeah, if you guys missed it on SmackDown on Tuesday, watch this segment. Samoa Joe is just absolutely out of his mind right now with the
He's
promos
awesome.
that he's cutting. So
he's a
basically what this was,
fantastic storybook writer.
basically what this was he had written a book that was called Night Night AJ,
Like a
and it was like a
children's
literal book. Like it was all rhyming. It was like a Dr. Seuss book, but it was all about how AJ was gonna go to sleep, and that was like the crux of the match. And then he was gonna run off with Wendy and the kid.
And then we get the X Division title match from Bound for Glory
Yes.
2008. Oh wait, wrong promotion.
Yeah, but after that, we did get AJ versus Samoa Joe for the WWE Championship. Of course, AJ is the champion. I am going to continue to whine and moan and complain about the placement of the WWE title on these modern day WWE shows.
Oh, I agree. This should have closed the show.
I can't
Yeah.
stand it. The way they treat. Like they claim over and over again, SmackDown's not a B show, SmackDown's not a B show. But then you go ahead and you put your WWE title match, which they continuously put over on television as the most prestigious title in the history of wrestling, and you put it in the middle of your show.
What bothers me too is you have the WWE title that's been held by, I mean, look at all the people that have held the WWE title. Bruno, Hulk, Stone Cold, Brock, Cena, Macho Man. This title has been held by the legends, you know? And then this Universal title, it's been held by Brock, Goldberg, Finn, and Owens, and now Reigns.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, the Universal title should not be up to the importance as the WWE title.
We know why.
right
It's
now.
because Roman.
Well, it's because
I
Roman
know.
and
Brock.
To be fair, it's because it was in a cell too,
and it was Raw.
and it's on Raw. But
Yeah.
it just this match was put essentially in like the pee break spot because it's after the hottest match of the night, and it's literally smack dab in the middle of the card.
I'm just hoping that with SmackDown moving to Fox, that
It gets
that
the
title gets the respect it deserves.
Because this was a really good match, and the crowd unfortunately was not into it.
Yeah, take us on it.
BS.
Tell us what we want.
It was
What?
just BS at the crowd.
Yeah, no, they
should have been popping
This
the
match
whole
deserved
time.
more, but I kind of again like they put it in a tough spot in the card. So they do come out, and we get this match. We start off with some chops, some nice big chops. I love Joe's chops. Joe has really good chops. He chops AJ several times.
Chop,
And then
away.
AJ retaliates with a drop kick to Joe. And then Joe hits a running knee to AJ and just knocks him off the apron. And then they go outside. And then AJ hits his own running knee and kills Joe. And then Joe is selling. I thought Joe was dead the way he was selling this move.
Yeah.
He was just like lying there motionless against the table. AJ gets sent into the stairs. He teases a forearm outside. Or no, he teases a forearm back inside. So they're inside the ring. He's going to tease the phenomenal forearm early. Joe, with his smart veteran heel tactics, rolls out of the ring so AJ can't hit it. I just love Samoa Joe, guys.
Oh yeah.
I
yeah.
love both these guys.
I love both. I don't have a single complaint about either one of these guys.
Joe is a top 5 chopper though, like you were saying.
His
Top 5
chops
all
are
time.
great. There's nothing more than I love chops that leave somebody's chest looking like hamburger meat after the match is over. This wasn't that because obviously he didn't
So
do it
vivid.
repeatedly, but like. Do you remember the Greatest Royal Rumble when Roderick Strong was like chopping the shit out of Daniel Bryan?
Yeah.
And like his chest was like
Looked
destroyed.
gross.
I
It was
love
gross.
that. I love that. And Joe has the capability to do that. I don't know why we're going on about chops so much in this episode tonight, but
They're important.
he's got a good chop. So we get back inside. Joe says, "You're not the only man who can do a running knee." He took AJ's head off with a running knee into the corner. I don't want a 300-pound man running at me and kneeing me when I'm in a corner of anything. So
Right.
I sympathize for AJ on that spot. Because Joe, for a big man, is quick for a 40-year-old large.
Oh, he's so agile, dude.
He's a large man.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's a big boy. And we like our big boys on
And
here.
body slams.
Yeah, that's right.
Correct.
AJ starts working over Joe's knee a little bit. We get a corner splash, enziguri combo, the classic Samoa Joe offense to AJ. We get a suicide forearm dive to AJ on the outside.
From Joe, yeah.
Yeah, from
That was
Joe.
Crazy.
They come back in the ring. AJ just gets shoulder tackled, but he sells this like he's been hit by a car.
AJ's getting thrown around.
Yeah, that's
He's
kind of what
getting
I was.
ragdolled throughout
Yeah,
this match.
exactly.
The sell job on that shoulder tackle, like he literally looked like he was in Hurricane Florence and he got hit with like a palm tree. You know, it was gnarly.
We're thinking about you.
Yeah, everyone going through those hurricanes right now.
You're a dick.
Yeah, if you're a listener though, all jokes aside, like, stay safe.
Yeah, don't
Please.
stay indoors. Don't be outside like that one guy with the American flag that went viral.
I didn't see that, but don't do that.
It was from a few years ago, but it's very
Oh.
irresponsible.
Just be safe. Keep your.
Did you guys-
Hey, don't abandon your animals either. Come
That's
on.
huge.
Did you see the
Yeah.
lines like out the door for the? They were fostering the animal shelters. Were having people foster animals who could keep them in a safe place, and like the lines for these animal shelters were like out the door.
Good.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
Don't
also,
leave your animals.
Also, I think my favorite news highlight has been the Weather Channel weatherman who was like faking the intensity of
Oh,
the
yeah.
wind and rain. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, we
not-
are way off base.
It's not going to help the fake news movement, but go ahead.
No, yeah, fake news. So AJ gets blown up by that shoulder tackle, and then Joe gets a sit-out powerbomb near fall, and after he gets the near fall, he puts him right into the Boston Crab. Then it's an STF. Then hits a crossface.
Well, what do they call? What does he call that? Because that's like a modified Boston Crab where he's
Yeah, it's not really a Boston Crab per se.
and he's got like his legs all the way up on his shoulders, kind of.
It's like a Walls
style
of Joey
squashes.
Co.
Of what?
A Walls of Joey Co.
God, you're cute.
Nice, dude. I like that. I think you should adopt that. He's just being the submission machine that he
The
is.
Samoan submission machine.
It's nice to see him actually bring out some of those submissions because I feel like he doesn't he's like become like a one submission pony with
Yeah,
the Coquina clutch. So
right.
it's nice to see him this was like rapid fire from one hold to the next hold to the next hold. AJ does manage to get out of it. Joe misses a corner splash. Styles gets Joe up onto his shoulders for a torture rack. This was wild. You don't see torture racks anymore, especially
No, you don't.
to like a big man, a small man to big man. But he had him up there for a while. Slams him down for a near fall, and then he hits a springboard 450, like 3/4 of the way across the ring.
Well, and it was like a torture rack spun into like a layout powerbomb. Yeah, but that springboard 450 splash, he just like covered
It was insane.
so much ground. Oh my god.
Joe gets up and lariats AJ to death for a
AJ's
near fall. At
AJ's
this
kinda
point,
bleeding now.
I think that it was the lariat spot here that some mouth injury occurred to AJ because he was bleeding like crazy out of his mouth at this point. And then this part of the match was great, but it made me so mad because Joe puts AJ, on the top rope, and he teases the Muscle Buster, and nothing from this crowd.
Man, I gotta say,
Nothing.
I know Joe hurt Tyson Kidd with the Muscle Buster.
I love the
that.
Muscle
Was
Buster.
one of my favorite moves.
That's one of my
that Joe
favorite-
used
that's
in
one of my
TNA.
favorite
finishers
moves.
of all time.
When Joe first came in the TNA and he was just wrecking all the guys with the Muscle Buster and the Coquina Clutch and all that stuff, he was a badass.
So awesome.
And I get there was an accident that happened and it was very unfortunate because Tyson Kidd's a great wrestler, but you gotta trust the guy who's done that move 1,000 times, 1,000,000 times, and it messed up once.
Yeah.
And AJ, and the other thing, sorry to cut you off.
No.
AJ can take that move because
Yeah.
we've seen AJ take that move in TNA 1,000 times.
Well, the thing is, he continued to use the Muscle Buster throughout his entire stint in NXT. He used the Muscle Buster to win. He
that's
rarely
weird.
used the
That's
Coquina
weird.
Clutch in NXT. He almost exclusively used the Muscle Buster as a finishing maneuver, and since he's gotten to the main roster, he hasn't used it once. And I think that contributed to the fact that the crowd didn't sell. Maybe they didn't
Do you
buy
think
that he
they
was going to
didn't
do
know?
it. It was either that they didn't buy he was actually going to do it, or they didn't know what it was.
Which
But
would be
I was
ridiculous.
marking out because I wanted to see AJ get muscle busted. Unfortunately, the crowd did not feel the same way. But he does. AJ Styles does counter it. Tries to hit a Styles clash of his own. That gets countered. Joe hits an enziguri. AJ hits an enziguri to Joe for a near fall, and then a Pele kick, and then a forearm, like a regular forearm, not a phenomenal one. It's a regular
right,
forearm.
yep.
And then he goes for the phenomenal forearm, gets countered into the Coquina Clutch. AJ's rolling around. He gets him on the ground. AJ kind of moves backwards, and he's on top of Joe, basically, but Joe still has the clutch in. We see AJ make a move with his arm opposite of the hard cam.
Barely. I mean, you
Barely.
can barely catch
but the
it.
ref's counting
But
3.
as this is happening, Joe's shoulders are on the ground. The ref counts to 3. AJ retains the title. There's some confusion. Joe is furious because he keeps telling the ref, he tapped out.
He's basically, he like rolls out of the ring and like corners Corey Grave.
Yeah.
And he's like, did he tap out? Did he tap out? And
Yeah,
Corey
he
Graves
starts
like,
yelling at the announce
And
team.
Corey Graves like, yeah, man, I saw him tap out.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know about those guys, but I saw it.
don't break my neck again.
So at any rate, AJ does retain
Yikes.
the world title, and this match was fantastic. I almost said phenomenal, but I didn't want to like cliche myself. This was a really good match. I give it 4 stars. The ending, it did take a while for us to get a good view of the tap out, which I don't know if that was an error
think it
made
was
by the
planned.
production crew.
I think it was planned that way.
But we did finally get the view, and AJ does tap out. So again, that story is going to continue. Madman Samoa Joe is what I like to see, and he was like full on. I thought he was going to have a coronary after this match.
Yeah.
Oh, I got 2 thoughts on this. First
Okay.
of all, I'll give you my rating.
Let's
4
hear it.
stars. Great match. Fantastic match. I'm pissed at the crowd.
Yeah, they should have been
Yeah.
way
They
more
were
into this.
dead as fuck.
They
during
sat
the
on their
match.
hands the majority of this match, and this was a great match.
Yeah, this match was incredible. And they I mean, they didn't shit on it, but they did by not getting hot for
They
it.
just didn't give it what it deserved. Yeah.
It deserved a lot more, so shame on you.
Do you guys did you remember in SummerSlam, Joe teased the Muscle Buster to AJ as well, and similarly that got no heat. It got no heat here. The whole match didn't get really heat here.
I don't understand
Maybe
why.
it
It
was
was
just huge TNA marks and
I guess,
people
but
are haters.
Oh, this was a good match.
that was a fantastic
so
match,
good.
man.
What do you
Yeah.
give it, Luke?
I gave it 4 stars for sure. And I think we've said this maybe once before on the podcast, but Samoa Joe not main eventing, but Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles for the WWE title. Like 5 years ago, even or 10 years ago, like
Well,
I can't believe.
I made the comment 5 years ago. Who would have thought AJ Styles would be on the cover of the WWE video game?
Yeah. And how cool to see that matchup
These
in WWE.
guys,
Still,
that's so crazy.
both of these men are in their 40s, and they can still put
Oh
on
my
a match
God.
like this.
I'm just so grateful we're here for it.
Hey Vince, if you're listening, sign Christopher Daniels and let him have a triple threat for the title.
Yeah, you need the BME in your life.
Also,
buddy.
please put the belt on Joe soon.
kinda
I love
like
AJ.
It. I like it
I've,
on AJ.
I've loved his reign, and I have no complaints about his reign, but I'm ready to see Joe with the strap. And I think we'll get there eventually, but the story continues. I'm not going to complain about that at all.
Also, crazy ass Joe. kind of similar, Kyle. I mean, you're the huge
Yes, sir.
TNA mark.
I am.
When Joe got that face tattoo and was just basically an assassin,
Yeah, when he
was just trying to kill everyone.
Yeah,
That was like the period I was the most into Samoa Joe and TNA.
Yeah.
Didn't he have like a knife or a
knife,
machete that he carried
yeah,
around?
he did.
He was legit trying to kill people.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite Samoa Joes because he was evil. He was just pissed. Also, I brought this up, and I don't think you two remembered it, but does any of the fans remember when Samoa Joe got kidnapped on Impact? And then
I don't.
And then the next week he was just back, and there was never another mention about it, and everyone's like, who kidnapped Samoa Joe?
I just hate, dude. There's one thing that drives me nuts in booking, especially when they do crazy shit. Like, they do crazy shit and then think that the fans have literally the shortest memory span or the attention span of all time. And, you know, I get that one time when Vince's car blew up, Chris Benoit did that thing he did, and so they kind of
that
abandoned
was
that.
stupid, too, because
They kind of
what
abandoned
Chris
that,
Benoit
but
did had nothing
had
to do
nothing
with
to do with
Vince
Yeah, they should
blowing
have kept.
up.
They should have kept.
Yeah,
it
they
with that.
should have.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm still waiting to see who was behind GTV.
What?
You guys don't remember GTV?
No.
It was like all these candid cameras that were set up in the locker rooms and like the backstage areas. This was in the Attitude Era. And it would like cut to these random segments of like wrestlers like picking their nose or like making out. And
Was it Gold Dust TV?
it was supposed to be Goldust, but then
okay.
Goldust got injured and they just never resolved the story.
Wow.
Dude, Gold Dust had. I mean, huge tangent, but Gold Dust was fantastic.
Maybe next week
Yeah.
we'll find out who was behind GTV.
Yeah.
It was me the whole time.
Research.
So after that, we go cut backstage. Ronda Rousey is warming up, throwing some punches to the air, shadow boxing, and Natalia's there to hype her up, and then we get Miz and Maurice in a backstage interview segment, and then that was pretty good. I love that they're coordinating.
Yeah.
They both had the glasses and they both had matching outfits.
Luke
which
was
is nice.
dying.
After this,
For some reason, Luke thought this was like the funniest thing he'd ever seen.
No, dude.
It was
dude,
good.
Go
Luke-
look
Luke
at, I'm
will
gonna
post
tweet,
the picture
I'm gonna
tonight.
tweet out
Yes.
the picture.
Yes, please
not
do.
just, not really Miz. Maurice in those damn glasses had me dying, and she was just straight faced. So,
Well,
yeah.
Zach didn't really watch this.
Yeah, so I had to I had to tend to my family because there was a Costco happened today, and so I had to bring all the Costco groceries in, and so I'm gonna let Luke and Kyle kind of take the lead on this match.
I got a lot of notes on this one.
And
so.
I'm gonna let Kyle take the lead.
sit-
Yeah,
gonna
so
sit back and
I got a
relax.
lot of notes on this one. The women start the match, and Maurice does not want anything to do with Brie Bella. So she goes and tags Miz in real quick. So Miz gets on the attack, and he's punching Bryan in the corner and whips Bryan in the corner, all that stuff. Then he throws him into the corner, and Bryan flips over him, hits some moves on him. Bryan tags Brie, but Maurice quickly tags the Miz back in. Bree starts the crowd going with the coward chant. The crowd's hotter for this match than the WWE title match, and that bothers me. I love
severely.
Daniel Bryan and The Miz, but yeah, okay. So
Pissed.
let's see. You know, they keep doing some stuff. Bryan hits a Frankensteiner at one point.
Nice.
That was a big
was
match.
nice.
Roll up to crossface by Bryan. Maurice breaks it up, and Bree chases her off. Let's see. We get some yes kicks in the corner. Good stuff. Bryan launches for a drop kick in the corner. Miz moves, crash and burn on that one. Back neck breaker by Miz. Yes kicks by Miz. Miz goes for the superplex, and Bryan will fight it off. Flying headbutt missed by Bryan. Miz prevents a tag to Brie Bella. And then Corey Graves made a fun announcing comment that I wrote down. He said, Bree's arms got shorter reaching for the tag like Saxon reaching for the dinner bill.
I like Graves.
You know
Yeah.
there has to be some inside heat there too.
Yeah,
Oh, for
I
sure.
popped that. Bree's tagged in, and Miz gets up to try to protect Maurice, and Bree slides under him because Maurice is out of the ring and kicks her outside. Bryan hits a flying knee off the apron to Miz, who's on the outside now, and there's a little bit of a cat fight going on there. It's pretty nice. Pretty nice drop kick. It was actually a lot better than I was expecting on that. Miz breaks up a pin. Bryan attacks him. Then both Bree and Daniel Bryan start hitting yes kicks. They miss the final one. Miz is starting to bleed here.
Well, and it was right before that part where Bryan was pissed
Oh yeah.
because Miz put his hands on Brie, and so he's no one touches my wife.
Similar to what happened on SmackDown.
Yeah,
and
and
just
then they-
slaps the shit out of him.
the
multiple
heels
times.
start to leave, and then the faces go get them, and Bree knees Maurice, and Maurice just rolls her up, and her and the Miz win.
Yeah, I did catch.
Trash.
I did come in to catch like
It was
the
a
end
weird.
of this match.
It was a weird ending. I didn't like the ending because like Bree kneed Maurice and then just got rolled up out of nowhere.
So I understand. Obviously, you did not want Daniel Bryan taking another pin. I mean,
Right.
no circumstances should Daniel be taking another pin.
Agreed.
You also similarly don't want Miz to take the pin because that's kind of where the story is still going to go back to, I think. But couldn't you have done something? Like, does Maurice have a finisher?
No,
She could have done the skull crushing finale, dude.
what bothers me about this is Daniel needs a win. He's not winning anything.
Yeah.
And they've turned him into just another regular guy when he should be a top player. Miz should be a top player too.
At this point, are you confident, or do you think that he's going to win the #1 contender match at the Super Showdown?
I think he has to if he's lost 2 straight matches. I would love to see Joe win the belt and then have some Joe and Bryan matches where Bryan finally gets his belt back.
So what I can
those would be good.
What
Yes,
I
they
could
would be.
see them doing is I could see it going down where Miz wins that match, the #1 contender match, takes the title from AJ. Obviously, that means AJ would have to go over Joe again. And then you can kind of kickstart that feud around Mania season. Bryan can win the title from The Miz at Mania. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but in a long-term booking sense, that makes sense. But like you said, if Bryan doesn't win this #1 contender match, the feud is over.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be
Miz has
3-0
gotten way too
at
many
that
wins.
point.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give it about 2 3/4 stars. It was good for what it was. I liked it more than I expected. I originally wrote 3 down, but I'm thinking about it now and I'm like, no way, it's a 3. So I'm gonna go 2 3/4. The ending was kind of lame. The women aren't traditional women wrestlers. I mean, Brie I guess is, but she's wrestled one match in the last.
She's
Yeah.
wrestling on TV quite a bit, but she's not.
But she's also a lower. She came in right before the Diva or the Women's Revolution, and they did well. The Bella Twins did well in tag team action, but she's lower tier.
Nikki,
she is.
I would say Nikki's probably a better wrestler than Brie, but Brie is way cuter.
Yeah. No,
And
I'll buy that.
I didn't rate this match because I didn't really see that much.
Yeah,
of it.
I also gave it a 2 3/4 stars. The thing with mixed tag matches, man, is it's very rare that in the mixed tag there is 2 very good, competent female wrestlers, or even 2 very good, competent male wrestlers. There's usually mixed tag because there's a weakest link somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we got to see Maurice, who's she was a Divas champion, but that was a low period in that title. 2 not that good female wrestlers going at it. There was just some weak selling, some weak punches. It just wasn't as good as it should have been. And so mixed tag matches I'm always kind of sour on, and it was slow moving. It was slow moving, and then
It was better than I thought it was going to be.
Yes, absolutely. But Bryan and Miz had to carry, and
of course.
they did well. And even though I'm not a Seahawks fan, I do love
The color scheme?
the matching Seahawks.
Yeah, I hate
unis.
the Seahawks, but I like their colors. So
Yeah.
they look cool.
After that match, we got like the most nonchalant injury update regarding Jeff Hardy's injury, because it sounded like he was dying, and Michael Cole was just like, "Yeah, he's puking blood. All right, on to the women's title match."
Dude. What the?
It was like so nonchalant.
Yeah, Mike did not give a shit about Jeff Hardy.
Real quick,
No.
I know that I'm going way back here, but just a second.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. After the AJ and Joe match, Joe kept trying to argue about it being his title. He tried to even steal it from AJ.
The crowd marked out when he grabbed the title.
Yes, and AJ just enziguried the shit out of him in the face and left him laying there and just left because he was
Yeah.
just sick of Joe's shit. Anyway, I thought that was really cool and
yeah.
deserved to be noted.
After that, we got Ronda Rousey versus Alexa Bliss for the women's championship.
You hate Ronda?
I do not hate Ronda. I just think that the only reason that the title is on her is because she is a celebrity, and she will get to the point where she can be like a viable option as champion. But right now, I think in ring, she's not there yet. That's all I think. I think in ring,
Sure.
she has some kinks to work out, and character-wise, she has some kinks to work out. And I think it's a little early to strap the title to her, but she has it, and she's keeping
But
it for
I
a
mean,
long
she
time.
has like a realistic style. She looks tough.
Yes,
She is tough.
yes.
She's gonna beat any of these girls' asses anyways, and she's not bad in the ring.
No, not at all.
And she'll continue.
promo work needs work, yeah.
She'll continue to get better too. I just would have liked to have seen them. Maybe even wait till Mania to like put that title on her.
I agree, but at the same time, you gotta ride the wave of Ronda while it's still hot. And if you relegate her to
You gotta ride the hot hand.
Right, and if you relegate her to non-important matches when she debuts, then by the time it gets there, it's a gamble of whether it'll be worth it and if they'll still get the viewership. So,
no, for sure.
Double-edged sword.
So the story behind this match, obviously, it's the rematch, Alexa Bliss's rematch for the championship that she lost at SummerSlam. Alexa is selling the ribs or beating the ribs of Ronda. Ronda selling her ribs from the attacks on Monday. That was a lot of her offense. Alexa's offense through this match was just kind of putting Ronda's ribs through the ringer. Ronda goes for the armbar early twice. Alexa escapes both times. One time off a distraction by Alicia Fox. Bliss is working over the ribs some more. Ronda goes for like a judo throw, but her ribs are too hurt. She can't quite do it. Alexa hits this really cool handspring backflip double knee for like a near fall. That looked really nice.
She's so awesome.
She is. Ronda tries for a superplex, but Bliss escapes and puts Ronda in a tree of woe and hits a really nice looking drop kick. Alexa got a lot of offense in this match, actually. She starts getting kicks on Ronda's ribs, and then she just straight up mocks Ronda. Ronda takes offense to that. She hits a gut wrench like power bomb to Alexa.
Hold on, you gotta.
Did I miss something?
Well, you gotta mention the whole hulking up sequence.
Oh yeah, she pretty much hulks up.
No, she gets pissed and she gets like this death glare and looks at it's like a I'm sick of your shit. And then Alexa, who is probably the best selling women's wrestler right now, looks at her like her eyes get huge and she's like ah
yeah,
like
it
she
was
just
awesome.
screams.
And yeah, then she hits that like gut wrench power bomb to her, and then she gets up. Bliss tries for a rib kick. At this point, she's so hulked up, she's not feeling anything. She picks up Bliss, does a rolling Death Valley driver, puts in the armbar. Instantaneously, Alexa Bliss taps.
The second, yeah.
I thought that was fantastic.
And the second she gets that armbar on, she taps out, and Ronda retains.
Yep, go ahead.
Because, in an MMA fight, if you hold on that armbar too long, your arm's going to snap in
This
half.
is snapping, yes.
Yeah.
Or it's going to come out of the socket or
Yeah,
something.
for sure.
So it was great to see that Alexa tapped real quick.
And he gave Ronda that credibility.
Yeah, it gave her that MMA credibility. I'm giving it 2 3/4 stars. It wasn't bad. It was sloppy in some spots. Both sold great.
Yeah.
And I really, really liked the finish.
Yeah, I gave it. Actually gave it 3 stars. I liked it more than the mixed tag match. And what I really liked, Ronda did do like the cliche. Are you guys like what after the rolling Death Valley driver? You guys ready for this? Sort of a thing, but. Then you also had
we're back on Twitch, everybody.
My gosh, incredible! And of course, as we got to the finish of the
anyways, a lot of stuff happened in that Ronda versus
the Ronda Alexa Bliss
match.
She's fantastic at selling, and I'm so glad that she didn't tease the armbar for 5 minutes straight.
Yeah, I agree.
How much? What did you give it?
I give it 2.6. I thought it was just barely better than your average match, but just barely. Ronda has a lot of work to do still, but she's getting better. This was her most like standard wrestling match.
You want some haterade, bro?
Yeah, dude. This was her most. I gave the match a 2.6. It wasn't great. It was okay.
It wasn't great, but it was.
I don't know. I really liked it.
I liked it too. But whatever.
I do love the armbar and just how strong they're keeping it, and they're making pretty much everybody just succumb instantly to it. And I do like that a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna give the match 2.6. Like I said, it was just barely better.
That's what you
than
look like,
your
huh?
average match. After that, decent little match. We are getting hyped up for the main event of the evening.
Wait. We're not getting hyped up yet. We got Samoa Joe being a fucking angry
I was gonna
little
get
guy.
there. I was gonna get there. Go ahead and talk
He's
about
in the back screaming at the ref. He's screaming at Paige. Paige looking all cute, yelling at him back, telling him to calm the fuck down.
She stood up to that crazy.
Yeah, she was looking great, and she's like, Joe, you calm the fuck down.
Yeah,
she didn't say it like that, but
quit.
And then they agreed on a no holds barred match, no disqualification match at Super Show.
Yeah, so that
Show Down Under. Or whatever
that
it's called.
should be real good.
Yeah.
They just keep making these two guys kill each other, and I'm all for it.
Can I be honest though?
Yeah, please.
I kind of hate these other country pay-per-views that they're doing that start at like 9 in the morning. And
I
stuff.
know.
It's so annoying because then I have to stay off Twitter and I need to stay off.
While you're at work.
Not even when I'm at work. Just like if I'm on my break and I want to go look at Twitter, I don't want to spoil stuff for me.
But in Australia, I mean, at least we're gonna see women's matches, right?
Yeah,
That's actually a really good point. I was going to say at least there's none of the political or social backlash that they'll be receiving because at least this isn't in a normal place.
Didn't they get some social backlash or some like backlash from showing that commercial that had Carmella in it?
Yeah, they showed a commercial with women in it, and the Saudi government did not take too kindly to that.
It was just Carmella looking real good in her little
I agree.
suit.
That match should be great though at the Super Showdown. I'm excited for that.
I agree.
By the way, I feel like it's worth noting we are not going to do a show on the Super Showdown just because, again, it is going to be a show during the day. It's going to be kind of hard to coordinate our schedules. But typically we're going to be doing these live shows. I'd like to keep live streaming them if you guys would.
Yeah, I'm down.
Sure.
I'm down.
We're here anyway.
You don't break it again.
I don't know what happened there. But we will be kind of not doing that. We'll talk about it in a normal episode, but we're not going to be doing a show
reaction. If there's
reaction
things that need to be
review.
touched on, we'll touch on it.
Definitely.
I'm sure we'll watch it all apart.
We'll touch
Definitely.
it all.
But
yeah. With that being said, it is now time for the main event.
your main event of the evening.
Yes, so we got a video package to hype it up before. That was
your mic
pretty
Buffer?
good. You do sound just like him.
I'm Kyle Sigler.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Hey.
Not Michael Buffer.
Things are really falling off the wheels are falling off this bus now. Don't you? He did it. Pretty good video package actually. I thought. And also on Twitch, Moose Carnage. I know who you are, and we're not taking off our shirts.
Do you like my shirt though? It says heel and it's Darth Vader. It's D-Viddy.
Let's get to this match.
Yeah, let's get to this match. First off, the video package beforehand was really nice, I thought. It chronicled like Braun and Roman's feud going way back to like when he flipped the ambulance. So we're talking like a year and a half worth of story here that they're kind of covering, and it was good. And it didn't make me any more excited for the match, but it was a solid video package.
Can I point something out before the match starts?
Please do.
Foley comes out, car crash,
Yeah.
and he might have had the biggest pop of the night.
Dude, people love Foley.
People love Mick Foley, and I'm going to ask another question on Facebook tonight when, I get home and stuff. Who is your favorite face of Foley? We did the Hardy Boys question last week. Who is your favorite face of Foley? Is it Cactus Jack? Is it Mankind? Or is it Dude Love? Or is it even just Mick Foley by himself?
It's Mankind for me because that's just who I like associate Foley with. But man, Cactus Jack's great too.
Cactus Jack's my favorite. I like the sadistic Foley.
Yeah.
I guess Mankind was kind of sadistic too.
At least in
the
the beginning of his run, he was. He kind of got more towards the comedy towards the end, but
and I also like how Cactus Jack would periodically come back for feuds with like Triple H and Randy Orton and stuff.
Cactus Jack is probably my pick, but the most well-rounded by far is Mankind to me, especially when you look at when he was wearing like the brown singlet and like ripping his hair out, and he was crazy. And then he evolved into a guy with a white shirt.
And I'm not even a dude love hater or anything. Some of my friends think I'm a dude love hater, but I just think it's the worst of the three gimmicks.
No, I agree with that completely. So he does come out first. Again, it is worth noting he is the guest referee for the Hell in a Cell match, the Universal title match between Roman Reigns, who of course is the champion, and Braun Strowman. Essentially, the reason he's the guest referee in this match is because it's been 20 years since the iconic Hell in a Cell match between he and The Undertaker at King of the Ring.
Yep.
And it's just a good way to remind people that, hey, I exist and I'm kind of the granddaddy of this match and put me in it.
In classic fashion, he had the button up and he took a Sharpie and like made the zebra stripes.
Yeah.
And he had like a weird white pocket with the WWE logo on it, and it bothered me for no reason
It really
at all.
did.
I loved it. I don't care.
So, yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if you've got it here to talk about Roman Reigns. New music. Would it help?
I think a new song would help because people are like conditioned to boo that song when it's not followed, when it's not preceded by the Shields.
Even though he got a pop here. Even though he
you
got
know
a
what's
pop.
weird
pop-ish.
too is like Dean and Seth both got new music.
Yeah, and
And
Roman
he just like took the Shields.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't like it.
Roman, I will say, didn't feel that over when he was coming out.
No.
And I hate the freaking way he carries the belt. Can
Yeah,
I just
I
say
do
that?
too.
The way he slings it over his shoulder like a knapsack.
It's like he doesn't care about it.
Yeah, and he just walks, he essentially drags it out with him, and then he slings it over his arm. It just, it doesn't, it's not a good look. It doesn't,
I think
he's too nonchalant about things.
So the
Laissez-faire.
thing I don't like about it is, you're getting these face shots about him, right? You're getting the front face, and he is not holding the belt.
Yeah,
in
you
front of
don't
the
see the
title.
belt.
So it's like he doesn't even give a shit about it.
Yeah.
I miss traditional wearing it, but I'm super down with holding it.
Yeah.
Like here, but I am not cool with just flinging it over your shoulder like it.
He's just trying to be different, but yeah, he just looks like he does
It looks
not
bad.
give one shit.
And he's just so nonchalant about everything, but it just comes off as careless to me. He was not that over. He was getting cheered more than he was getting booed, which I thought was interesting. But even then, it was a muted reaction compared to if you look at the match he had with Joe. I forget the pay-per-view, but where they got booed out of the building, like he's not getting booed anymore, but he's not really getting noise anymore.
Fair to Midland.
Yeah. This match was weird.
Yes.
So it starts off, it's big man hossing each other up. Roman gets sent into the post right off the bat. And then he gets outside the ring, gets sent into the cell, again. Roman forearms Braun when they're still outside of the ring. Reigns takes a nice stair bump here. This will not be the first that he takes. He does recover in long enough to hit a drive-by onto Braun on the outside. And then
another.
Yes, and then he got choke slammed onto the apron on the outside by Braun, which was pretty cool. You don't see a apron choke slam. The impact wasn't great. They didn't do a replay of it, and I think that's why. But just the visual of a man choke slamming another man onto the hardest part of the ring.
People forget that.
People do forget that's the hardest part of the ring. And then Braun takes the stairs, hits Roman again, and then just chucks the stairs into the ring. You're getting more stairs in this match, whether you like it or not. I believe there's a chair at this point, maybe, too. There's some weapons being thrown into the ring.
Real quick side commentary.
Yeah, please.
Roman is the king of the shoulder tackle post bump of missing that dive and then just taking it into the shoulder. And then Braun Strowman is the king of the wardrobe malfunction. And
his nipples are always popping out of his shirt.
About quarter chub when that... Yeah, no, he's had more nip slips than Janet Jackson, for sure.
Definitely.
Nice.
So Roman gets a kendo stick, just beats the hell out of Braun with it. Braun no-sells the shots, and then just breaks. It was already kind of broken, but he just breaks the kendo the rest of the way over his knee. The men go back inside. Roman tries for a chair shot. Braun catches the chair, like, with his elbows, kind of. Mm-hmm. Like, he eats the chair shot, but he catches it. Under his arm. Yeah. And then Roman gets Superman punches Braun twice. Then Roman eats a choke slam because it was another pretty much no-sell by Braun. That gets a near fall. And then Roman hits a pop-up Superman punch for a near fall. And then Roman gets a table. He sets it up in the corner. Braun brings the stairs back in, drills Roman. He takes the stairs vertically and smashes them down onto his tummy. That gave me a tummy ache just looking at it.
That's where the flak jacket comes in, though.
Yeah, good thing he's wearing a bulletproof vest because he's got a lot of padding that can eat a lot of that. While that's all going on, we notice as the crowd starts cheering at something, and then we cut back just long enough to see Braun get speared to the table, and both men in the cell are dead for a while, and we're going to figure out why.
Way too long.
Here shortly. Way too long. So the crowd starts going crazy for a distraction outside of the ring. Oh, here comes McIntyre and Dolph. They're trying to get into the steel cage.
For no damn reason.
I mean, they're trying to back up their buddy, but this just went to a place that I didn't really want it to go. So then I knew who was coming after that. Of course, here comes the rest of the Shield. Seth and Dean come out. All four men start brawling. They brawl over by the announce tables, and then Dolph's the first one to climb the cell. But he climbed it for no reason. Why did he climb the cell?
Because he was trying to get away from getting his ass beat by Seth, but...
Why did he just...
No, it seemed like he went up there with more of a purpose of to beat someone's ass, and no one was up there.
No one was up there.
I thought he was just trying to get away from the Shield.
It didn't seem very frantic. I don't know.
I agree with Luke. And then shortly after that,
I'll die.
The other three men climb the table, and they all just start brawling on top of the cell. For some reason, Braun and Roman are still dead on the inside of the ring. They were selling the effects for way too
what felt like 10
long.
minutes, man.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman's never staying down that long, ever.
Ever.
He could get a car could land on him, and he's not going to stay down that long.
It's just getting weird here.
Kane knocked over a whole thing of lights on him, and he didn't even stay down for that long.
Yeah.
And then they compacted him in a garbage truck one time, and he didn't even stay down.
And he didn't even stay dead, which he should have been.
Remember when it was the Shield and Kurt Angle?
Yeah.
Minus Roman. It was Uncle Kurt taking the Shield to put Braun in a garbage
that's
truck.
a good point. And so
I think Miz was the one who ended up doing it. Miz and Kane and all them, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, was it? Was it the other heels?
Yeah, the other heels did it. They tried to kill him.
Jesus.
So
go ahead.
They're brawling on top of the cell for what seems like ever. I mean, there's some cool spots on the top of the cell.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was cool.
And it seemed very flimsy up there.
Yeah.
There was one piece of the cage where I was like, dude, are they going to do a spot where like the Foley spot? But that cage was so damn high. No way.
It was cool, but I didn't need it in this match.
No.
I mean,
I didn't need it, and I didn't want it.
I liked it. I just thought it was a little much.
So eventually, Dolph starts climbing. I guess he decides, well, this was stupid. Starts climbing down the
And I
cage,
agree.
The cell, and Seth says, "Oh no, you don't." And he starts climbing down the cell. They're both about halfway up at this point, maybe a little higher than halfway up, 3/4 up, maybe.
It's half.
They start brawling on the cell. Both men go through the announce table, of course. Two guys in the audience try to start a holy shit chant, but the audience, I think, was a little perplexed and confused at this point because nobody bid on it.
Yeah, it was like that St. Valentine's Day massacre where it was Stone Cold versus Vince in a cage.
Yep.
And he bounced his head off of the wall, and then he just like bounced into the announce table. So it was just a double one.
So they're down there doing their thing, and I think didn't Drew and Dean kind of just stayed up there, didn't they, for a while?
Yeah, I think they knocked each other out up there.
Yeah, so they're down, and then
But then we get
Brock
some
Lesnar's music
I was
hits.
gonna say we get some familiar music, and out comes Brock and Paul.
Angry Brock comes out.
Well, Angry
Heyman,
Paul, he's cussing
Paul
out the
Heyman-
ref.
I gotta say though, Brock looks really good here.
Yeah, he looks healthy.
he looks great.
and he looks rejuvenated when we get into
I
what
agree.
happened.
A little slim.
So they come out. Mick's trying to get him to leave. Paul's not having any of it. Just maces Mick Foley. That was like the extent of Mick Foley's involvement in this match. He got maced, and then Braun. So he's trying to get like the other ref outside to unlock the cage.
Yeah.
And he won't do it. So Braun just Brock just
kicks the shit
kicks
out
the
of
door down.
Yeah.
And then he like leans it against the ring and uses it to walk into the
As
ring.
a ramp, yeah.
Yeah,
It
it was awesome.
It was hilarious. And then he throws the door into the back into the ring, gets in the ring, takes the table fragments, beats Braun with it, beats Roman with it, F5s both
Beats
guys.
Braun with it again.
Beats
Yeah.
Braun with it again. Then he F5s both guys.
And he F5s Roman on top of Braun.
Yeah, then he F5s Roman on top of Brock. And literally that's the end of the pay-per-view.
They basically
That's a non-finish. The match doesn't end. There's no bell.
Garbage.
the ending was terrible for what I thought was an okay match.
I thought it was fine. There was way it got overbooked towards the end. There was way too much going on at the end of this match, and this might have been one of my least favorite pay-per-view finishes that I could remember in a long time.
Yeah.
There was no reason why both these guys could have not continued this match.
Yeah, they didn't even do a 10 count or anything.
No,
it was just
the
like,
ref just came in,
it was
looked
just
at him, and was
"He
like,
can't compete."
yeah, it was like, the bell didn't even ring.
No, it didn't. It was just you saw the logo on the bottom left.
You
And
saw Brock leaving, and the show ended. I hated the end of the show.
Yeah, it was bullshit.
It left a sour taste in my mouth. The match overall, I'm gonna give 2 stars. It just was chaos, and not in a good way.
I gave it 2.5. I enjoyed it. I was like
I did too,
entertained.
yeah.
The only thing I wish was if there was a finish. If there was a finish, I would have given it at least 3 stars.
I would have certainly given it a better rating.
Even
Yes.
if Roman would have won, I still would have given it 3 stars. So I'm not a Roman fan at all. I want to see Braun win the title. Brock looked good. I'm excited to see what he has to do now.
This is gonna lead to a triple threat, right?
Absolutely.
Right, but I want to see how Brock, because Brock was getting really stale. He looked better. He was moving better.
He was spry.
He seemed energized. So I'd like to see where that goes.
As long as he doesn't win the title back, I'm all for it.
I mean, I'll take him over Roman.
Oh, not me.
So I gave it 2.5 stars. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but anytime you have to give a Hell in a Cell match less than 3 stars, they fucked it up.
Yeah, I
and
agree.
This one, it was fun for a while, and then like you said, it just got overbooked, crazy, and that non-finish
Was terrible.
You always remember the last part of the movie, the final scene, and this was bullshit to an awesome pay-per-view.
There's no excuse of why this show needed to end this way. There's none.
No, it needed a finish.
Yep.
For sure.
Anything. It needed something. So if you're gonna do a finish like that, and obviously you can't do a DQ or something in a Hell in a Cell match, so it's harder to have a non-winner. But even in that case, I mean, have Roman, when he gets F5'd onto Braun, have him just lay there, and that counts as the pinfall, and the ref counts the
Yeah,
three.
that would be
Anything.
cool. Yeah.
But this was nothing. It wasn't even a finish. You can't even call it a non-finish. The bell never rang.
bell never
as
rang.
far as we know, they're both laying there still, and the match is still going.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
It really was a bad way to end the show. But overall, let's not end it on a negative note.
Sure, even though they did.
I thought this show was super solid. Just another great WWE show following up the success of SummerSlam. I thought this was better than SummerSlam.
Yes.
I did too.
Yes.
I gave it a B+.
Me as well.
Show,
Yep.
and it would have been an A- with a better ending. Definitely.
It might have been, A- or an A, dude. I don't know. Well, there was a couple
I
matches
thought
that
it was
were
a very,
A
very
minus,
good
A minus,
pay-per-view. Even this finish, like, I'm still very pleased with the show.
Yeah, I agree. I thought this was not, for the most part, not overbooked. I think all the right people won. I think the feuds that need to continue are continuing.
Yes.
And I think for the most part, this was just a hit for WWE, and kudos to all the performers. This was a solid show.
And at least we got to see one Hell in a Cell match that was awesome and done the right way.
Yep,
which
I
it's,
agree.
it's so hard to it's so hard to believe. I mean, I guess I'm just a hater, but it's so hard to believe that it's the one that Randy Orton was involved in.
Dude, yeah,
that
first,
was an incredible
that first Hell in a Cell
match.
if you're gonna watch one of the Hell in a Cell matches, watch the first one.
Yeah.
The first one, I mean, in every single way, was just a better experience.
So sweet.
So
Yeah.
not a bad show.
No, not a
B
bad show.
plus. B
I'm going to
plus.
give you guys a rundown on what's coming up with the right dates and stuff.
Yes,
the
we
right
have the
years,
list
yeah.
right in front of us.
Yep. So on September 26th, we will be releasing ECW December to Dismember 2006. This was a show with an Extreme Elimination Chamber. Next, after that, WrestleMania 10 is a fan request. After that, we got TNA Bound for Glory 2005, and this was one of the shows that really got me into TNA back in the day. And after that, we got King of the Ring 1998,
Yes, my
Halloween
favorite.
Havoc 1996, and then WWE Evolution 2018.
Which is worth noting, I will not be around for the Evolution show. So Luke and Kyle,
We got you.
they'll be
Yeah,
running
we got you.
ship.
There probably won't be a video stream for that
Probably
one.
won't be live streaming that one.
Yeah, we're not that smart.
Again, I apologize for the live stream issues tonight. I don't know what happened. We'll get that ironed out. I'd like to keep doing these live streams.
I do
Yeah.
too.
I had a good time.
I love 'em. I love 'em.
Thanks everybody for listening. Again, let's end it on a note of please support the podcast. Support your friends.
And hey, Moose Carnage, I'll take off my shirt for you later.
Oh, support
Holla,
us.
holla,
support
holla.
us on Store Envy, bigboysbodyslams.storeenvy.com. Buy a shirt. Support us on Patreon. That's the best way to support this podcast. If it just $1 a month, $1 a month.
That's it.
Gets
That's
you
it.
early access to all of our throwback shows. The live shows, everybody's going to kind of be getting those at the same time. Maybe in the future, if we get enough, we can have the live stream opened up just to you guys. Just throwing a little bait out there. But $1 a month gets you early access to all the shows. And I'm telling you guys, honestly, the tiers only get better from there. We're sitting on a new show idea. We just need some people to donate to that tier. And we got a new show coming to you guys. Once a month, you're going to get a new show. That's really cool. You're going to get your name in credits. If you donate $15 a month, you're going to get your name read aloud in the beginning of the show.
Anything
Guys,
you want.
there are
Well,
so
yeah.
many reasons to donate to our Patreon page. If you can't, I get it. Leave us a review on iTunes. Leave us a review on the Google Play Store. Just support your friends. Subscribe
talk
to
to
us
us.
on YouTube.
We get lonely.
We're here to hang out. We're friendly guys. Send us a message on Facebook. DM us on Twitter at BB and BS Podcast. We are here for it. We love every single one of you guys. Thank you for listening.
We love you, Hulkamaniacs.
And the podcast will be out tomorrow.
Yeah.